sleep till
Hey guys, what's up? It's Defy, and I'm back bringing you something a little bit different. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a stylish sort of abstract style Twitter header. So the template I've got in front of me is just a standard Twitter header. The new size requirements are 1500 by 500. So if I open that up on Photoshop, open a new file, so I could go new, and then here it would be 1500 by 500, and I also got a template in the description where it's got the AVI sort of like situated here. That would go there if I was going to create a header. So to start off, you need to sort out your background, and I wasn't too sure when I was doing this whether it was going to be a speed up, whether it was going to be a full commentary, but for now it's going to be a full commentary. So to start with, you need to get yourself a background. So if I turn off all my layers that I've got at the moment, that actually closes that whole file. So I'm going to turn off all of these here, including all of these and that, and oh no, I don't need that. So this is my background, and this is just a standard black backdrop. It's quite big because I wanted to get some of the mesh from the inside, as you see. And this is just a basic sort of stock template that I've had on my computer for quite a while. As you see, we can fit up to about there. So if I just open my icon file, it's sort of a texture that I've had since I started designing. So I've got a folder full here of textures, and there's some of these like black textures, like if I double click on this, sort of like black textures like this that you can use to put on the base of your image. So that's what I've got there. So that is the stock of my background. I'm just going to put that back to what it was, and to go from there, you need to really build up sort of the background before you put any text on it. That's what I do anyway. I'm not sure if you guys want to do that, but it's completely up to you. So then I'm going to put a little bit of a layer on here, which is it's just been hue saturated as on luminosity. So I've just taken the color out of it. So that sort of sits there. So it just sits on top. It's been taken off the background, so it's its own sort of layer style in a kind of way. And I've got some exposure, some curves, and some sort of changes here that can play with the contrast, so I'm going to stick those back on as well. And you get these sort of things from just editing lots of different templates and creating stuff. You'll just find them around, so you can either create them if you wanted to by going up in here, like your brightness and contrast and your levels and stuff, and there's those sorts of things that you can change around. So this is the main of the header. Obviously keeping in mind that the AVI will situate about here, so if I just open up one of my templates, so I've got AVI header, so I've got an AVI header, so that'll fit in, and that's what it will look like eventually with the AVI here. So what I want to do is to remind me that I've got an AVI there, I'm just going to quickly open up an AVI, and that'll go black, and then I can delete that. So that is where my AVI would go. So I'll know now that I don't need to put any text there or any logos there, otherwise that'll get clouded over. So I can hide that. And I'm just going to put on some shadows. They're on. You can't really see them, obviously, very well in the background, but I know they're there. I'm also going to get a stock from Halo 5, which is the trailer and the sort of clouds, so you can see sort of like the outline of the background. So I'm going to put the clouds there. I'm also going to put a glow on, which brings out the background there, and I'm going to drag that over until it's sort of on the top, because that's where I want it. So you can start to see the shadows a little bit brighter over the corner here, and possibly put on a little bit of a reflection, which is on 100%, and put these curves back on. So now my background is really situated where I want it to be. It's sort of nice. I can then start to put some text on it. It's not going to be too complicated, I don't think. It's going to be nice, it's going to be clean like this. And I've got a line there that I'm going to use later because I want to first open up another square. I want to make another shape, and I'm going to hold the shift key, and I'm going to just drag up to about there, and that'll do me fine. Now from there, I'm not going to pull it from the side and hold shift. I'm just going to drag it across, because it's a shape and it's not going to lose any of its elasticity, or it's not going to lose any of its shaping. And then I'm going to pull this down just a little bit till it's about there, I'm going to do the same on the upper one up here. Be careful not to move it out of the way. And I'm just going to try and equal it to us about the same size at the top as it is at the bottom. So now it looks like a sort of like a cinema screen, like a 16 by 9 screen. And I'm going to hide those two for now. I'm going to hide the top one and keep the bottom one. So I'm going to right click this and I'm going to convert it to a smart layer so it's not going to lose any of its elasticity if I move it around. And I need to decide whether I want to put any colour on it and I want to make it a base colour or whether I want to make it a gradient. So I can make it a colour, I can make it so many gradients. I can make it a nice red, I can make it blue, I can make it orange. Any of these gradients that I've selected myself. And I think I'm going to make it this sort of blue. This sort of blue is quite nice. It goes from a dark turquoise to a light blue. So I'm going to grab that. And I've got it on 150%. I mean, obviously the more you move it, if you move to 0, it just goes back to being a standard colour. But if I actually move it all the way down, is it any different to this colour here? It's a little bit lighter. So I'm going to move it all the way back up to 150. And I could put it in reverse so it could go from top down, but obviously it's going from bottom to top. And I could also align it with a layer, so that's just a standard, that's the thicker colour. Or I could put it back there. I'm going to put it back there. And I'm going to save that. I'm going to make that my default colour for now, and I'm going to save that. Second to that, I'm going to delete the top layer that I had, and then I'm going to duplicate that and simply just spin it around and push this back up to the top, and that is where it would go. Obviously now it looks a bit different, so it's going to always be thicker on the top. You know what, I think I might hide that and leave it there. I'm just going to shrink this down a little bit more so it's nice and thin. Like I said, I might put that there, like that, and spin that around. Oh, it's always going to spin around. Never mind, I'll put that there. Right, from there, obviously not forgetting the fact that my AVI goes there, so this isn't touching it, this just sits over. So I need to move the AVI all the way to the top layer. All the way to the top. That's that layer, my bad. Move the wrong layer up. So that's all the way at the top now, and this can go back here. So I'm trying to get it balanced within the rest of the layers. I think I'm going to move it up over the clouds so it's nicely there. So from there I then need to start editing the background. I need to start editing logos on here, I need to start adding stuff that's going to be on there because I've got the background how I like it at the moment, although I'm going to add a couple more textures in. And this is going to be sort of a professional one. Excuse my words, just getting all my mod up. So this is going to be quite professional. So I want to kind of put logos, or not logos, rather backgrounds that are going to fit in with it. So I could put grimy, sort of grunge in, I could put that in there, although that's a little bit more messy than I would have liked. Gonna keep scrolling through till I find one I like. Excuse me if you can hear my computer going, it's been going on all day. So I'm going to put this nice mesh one in, I kind of like the look of this one. So I'm just going to simply drag that in. And I just need to make it as big as a canvas size, so I need to drag this over, and that's quite nicely in there. As you can see, it's quite nice. And then I'm going to pull this down until it's around the same area as here. And I could either leave it like that rather, or I could overlay it in, so it gives this sort of like curvy bit here. I could put it on a hard light. I could really take the colour out of it and put on luminosity. But I think I might just take the opacity down, so it's still visible on the layer. That's about still visible. And I could either take the fill off it as well, I could unfill it or I could put it back up. But I think it might look better if I move it up, but I just need to have a play around with it to see where it sort of fits. It's still you can obviously see it there. Whereas best if I take that off, is it best if I take that off? I think it looks better if I take the huge saturation thing I've got on there. If I take that off. If I take the clouds off as well, it does look better. But you guys can obviously have a play around with it and see what you like on it. So I'm going to put that back to what it was, which was 35%. And I'm going to put 100% fill on. So now that's quite a professional looking background. It's not too complex. It's not really sort of, if I take the glow off it, it's like you couldn't really notice it on the background. And obviously it's got a lot of colour on it because I've got another curved layer on there. So that's sort of my background sorted. Now I need to edit a logo straight in the middle, and that's where the middle of it's going to go. But first I'm going to put this line on it, simply because I want a bit of a glow as it comes off the top. And in order to this I need to shrink back in, well not shrink, zoom. I'm going to zoom right in and keep the same height that it is, so I'm going to stop every so often and pull this across. So I could stop there and then continue going on the other side. It's not going to make much of a difference. Oh. So I'm then going to grab that and pull it all the way across like that. So now that sits nicely there, and like I said, I can either move it up again so it's like slightly above this other layer, or I can move it down until it's directly on the top. So I'm going to move it down so it's directly on the top. It's not a very thick layer, so that means I can do what I want. It's on a gradient at the moment, like I said, so I could even make that blue again. I could make it black. It sticks out a little bit as a black. Obviously I wouldn't choose anything other than black or white, so it's going to go white, which means I need to cancel that and leave it how it was. So I could either reduplicate that because I like the size of it and I don't want to mess it up, or I could put a second one on at a slight line there if that was just me messing about with it. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. So that's the top of it done. So I just need to put a logo on it now, and to put the logo on it I'm going to use an Orthodox Works logo. I'm going to go on here and get the iSupport logo, which is the sort of just one I named, and I'm going to close this up until it's about the size that I want it to be, and I'm going to put this directly in the middle of the canvas, and I'm going to open it up like that, and I'm going to put this in the middle again, so it's like about there. It's quite nice, it's right in the middle. So now I need to make the logo the same colour as the bottom here, the blue, like so. As I said, that was the first colour that came up. Or I could make it white, but I like the blue on it, so it's going to be blue. So I could either close up like that, as I said. I could either take the gradient off it, which gives it the sort of top to bottom look, or I could take the light layer off and just make it like that. I think I'm going to keep it on. It could be a brave move, it could be a brave move. And now I want to sort of play around with the outer glow. I could put an outer glow on it, which gives it this sort of black lines you see on the top. I could put a drop shadow on and bring it out and make it like sort of 3D-ish. I could put a stroke on it, but a stroke would look horrible. I could play with the inside shadow, I could put a glow on it, I could put satin on it, or I could put a bit of bevel and emboss on it. I could emboss it so it sort of sticks out. I'm just going to leave it how it is, because that's how I like it. That's how I like it. So that's just the logo how it is. Quite plain, quite nice. It's quite nice little branding at the moment. It's not too complex. That's sort of like how I like it. I suppose that's how I like it. And I've just picked up the wrong layer. So I now need this again, and I need to work out in a newbie little mistake how I'm moving these two layers back up again and spin that around. So I can now double click that. So now you see that's about the same colour as it is on the top. And I just need to go across. I don't need to go across with this one, but I need to go across with this one here, just so it's off the top. And that means I need to move the logo down a little bit because it's a little bit close to the top, and I just need to make it a little bit smaller. So that's my main back front done, and I could end it here. I mean, I could just end it here and be done with it and say, oh, that's the brand. But I want to kind of look deeper into the back before I put some text on it here and here. So first thing I need to do ideally is sort of like play around with these things here. The lines, just they're on the background because they're nice. I need to make sure that they're the same size as well, which I don't think they are. I think this one is a little bit thinner than at the bottom, so that means that I need to grab this and grab this and make this a little bit thicker so they're about the same size. And there's no way that I can see that they're the same size, so I just have to use my best judgment. So that is that side done. And now whether I want to put some sort of lines on, or whether I just want to get rid of these altogether and get rid of these sides altogether, whether I want to do that, I don't know. Does that look better or does it look worse? I personally think they look better, so I'm going to leave them on. So from there I want to put some sort of like diagonal sort of like pointy shapes on. I want to kind of make it a little bit hip, a little bit cool. So I'm going to make two shapes. I'm going to make this shape here, and I'm going to duplicate that and sort of bring it out like this. And this means that I can make this one this colour. I can take the alignment off, and instead of just going on Illustrator and creating, so there was another thing before I changed. So if I press Ctrl Y, I can either change it from an RGB colour or to a CMYK. As you can see the difference, and I think it looks better on CMYK, so that's what I'm going to keep. Obviously it changes the colour density a little bit, but you know, we can live with that. Yes. So like I said, I wanted to try create a little bit of a dark like a point shape, like a triangle shape going off. So I'm going to cut these two shapes together, and I'm going to convert that to a smart object. I'm going to save that. I'm going to get the magic wand tool out, and I'm going to cut that off, and I'm going to cut this off as well. So now you see that this is just a triangle shape like that. And there's an easy way to make little shapes that come off, and like little shapes that you can do work with. And as you can see, I've just left a little bit off, so I just need to go back and mess around with that. So I just need to rasterize this entire layer style, get the magic wand tool out again, delete that, deselect that, and convert that back to a smart object. And then it's still coming up as a shape, so then I need to mess around with that. And obviously for some reason it's still coming up as a huge object, which I'm not too sure why. So I'm just going to go and grab the eraser. I'm just going to grab the eraser and just brush off where it was, so it's not doing that again. So then it's just coming up as the shape. Convert that back to a smart tool rather, and shrink that down. And then I'm going to duplicate this. I'm just create a new folder and duplicate this, and then play around with this whether I like it or not. So I can convert that like that. I can sort of pull that off there, and I'm going to put this under the lines and under it again, so those could sort of go there, so they could sort of like point off, and then I could duplicate this here, go up to edit, go up to transform and go flip horizontal, and I could put this the other side, and I could put those there, sort of like pointing in, and then I could go and duplicate these two layers again, or the two folders rather, and I could go over to transform flip horizontal. I don't know if it flipped or not. Oh, flip vertical, my bad. So I could put these two here, shrink that down a bit. So we could have them pointing out there as well, whether you guys like that or not, whether you want to play around with it. So I'm going to create one massive folder here, which is called fangs. I'm just going to call that fangs. And I'm going to select which of these I want. So I want the original, and I want to create more of them. So I want to create maybe 4 there, and try and like look like these two are together. Or whether I want to create 3 like that, just put the one in the middle straight, so it looks like there's 3 of them. Whether I want to do that or not. But I'm going to move that over so they're kind of conjoined, but it looks like there's 4 of them, which means that I can then go and delete these 3 groups and merge these 2 groups together. So one, I can call this right, I'll call that right top. I'm going to duplicate that and then do the same process I did before. Flip horizontal, and I could call this left top. And then the same I want to do with these two. I want to duplicate these, keep them selected, and choose flip vertical, and drag these down to about there. So it gives a little bit more fluency to the background in general. So it looks like there's some stuff going on, and I'm going to call this one left bottom, so I'll just call that BTM. And right bottom. But I think I'm going to hide the bottom ones simply because, and I'm going to get rid of these 2 lines here. So the 2 lines, because I sort of don't like the lines, I don't like the way they're sort of like sitting there. And I'm also going to open up these 2 folders. And I want to kind of play around with the gradient again, because on a second glance I'm not too sure that I like it. Obviously it's coming up there like that. So I actually want to highlight the whole layer, or the whole group rather. Do the same. I could do it like that. I could grab the whole group folder if I wanted to, and do that. And I could just make it as it is, like it's sticking in on the background. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to just the same on the right, like that. So they look like they're actually inside the top there, because if I got rid of these, the bottom, if I got rid of, they would just be sticking out like randomly. And then obviously if I grab the whole layer I can move it up and down so it looks like it's on its own or not. But I actually kind of like that. I've never actually done something like that, so it's a new thing for everything really, isn't it? So those are those 2 done, and then I could easily put these ones back and make those the same colour. But we're just going to leave the top like that. So now I want to put my text on, and in order to put the text on I need to choose a font. So I've got this sort of font here, which is, tell you what this is. It's Century Gothic, which is quite a nice text. So I'm just going to put something simple as follow us on Twitter. So I'm going to put that there, and I might make this a little bit bold. So I need to double tap that, and it's got a regular italic, bold or italic sense, so I'm going to put that as bold. And I can make that equal so it's across the line there. Which means I might take the gradient off, or I might put a different gradient on, I might make it all the same colour. I don't kind of like that, I don't like that either, so I'm just leave it there. So this one obviously is from 4 unorthodox works, so I need to just put unorthodox WKRS. and unless this one has an @ symbol, because some text fonts on here don't, it does, so I can put an @ symbol on there. And I could either keep that bold like it is, and I'm going to line it up so it's sort of like the same. I could either keep that bold or I could make it regular, and I'm going to make it regular. Simply because there's a little bit of fluidity between them. I could put that there. And I could also then make this different so it's sort of like matching colours like that. I'm going to put it like that like that because I kind of like it. And I'm going to duplicate these two. I'm also going to bring up these levels here so they're not open. So I can duplicate that there, and I can then put this one here. And I'm going to put it this side. So now I was going to say visit our website, so we've got a website. So visit, those bubbles are right, yeah. So it's unorthodoxworks.com, and put that there. So there's the back and the front of my text, and obviously if I then put my rect account back on, it's a little bit over, which is disappointing because that's the way I like my text. So that's no different. I can just put these down a touch. I can just put them down to about there, which reduces the text size, but that's really not much of an issue. And if I group all the layers, I can then put that there, and it fits just before, and it's still quite visible to the eye, so I could put that there. And then from there, I could either put these back on now, like the fangs. I could either put them back on if I just put these here and put these here. Actually, I might hide these and get these two and duplicate it again. I have a feeling that's always going to be darker for some reason. It's just messing up for me today. Thank you. Not very helpful, but reverse it. Nope, yep, I'll just reverse it. Easy enough for me. And put those back there. And now you can see that it sort of fits in. It's looking quite nice, it's looking quite professional, I think. It's a little bit different to what you might term as professional, but it's kind of nice. I noticed that sort of the logo and the text is it's not all together, so I'm just going to group this text so it's easier. I'm going to grab the logo and I'm just going to pull this. I'm going to pull it until it's sort of in the middle, and then these two here, the unorthodox and the visit our website, I'm just going to push in a little, and then these two here, I'm just going to push that in until it's nice and close, and that is basically my header. That's what I want. I like the background. I don't want to change the background. If this was sort of like based at a team, you'd put maybe the background of a team in, so something like so maybe something like that in. I put like a COD soldier in the background. If I just drag this across, I could put something like that in. I could put a COD soldier in, and I could have a team logo here. I could get rid of the fangs, whatever. Obviously guys, if you like this tutorial, please leave a like. If you disliked it, please leave a dislike, but also leave a comment why you disliked it. I actually wanted to change something about Unorthodox. It will be free graphics, and we're launching onto it soon. We're just talking with Esports GFX, who is sort of like a database for designers, who tweeted out saying they were looking for a graphic company to do free graphics for showers and followers. It's not necessarily the followers that really bother me, it's just like getting awareness out there again that we're back. So it will be free graphics, so if you guys want to order from them, please do so soon. I think it's launching at mid-May time. Obviously, if you like this tutorial, I wanted to do something different, like I said. So this is number 6 in a series of design tutorials. So, you know, I will leave this template in the description so you can actually have this template with the fangs on it, and obviously I'll delete the text and the logo and stuff. But you guys can have a play around with it, and it's a free template for you guys to use. Other than that, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Peace.